Bro, have you been using pre-workout recently? Why not? There's a sweet new one from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, in Canada. It's called Batch 27. I think you should try it. Whoa, it just magically appeared out of nowhere. Here it is, dude. Batch 27. I think you should try some.
Oh look, a shaker bottle just magically appeared. We can have you have some now. There's conveniently water in here. Drink it up, bro. Magic, right?
Okay guys, so this pre-workout is from a company in Canada, like I've said, in one of the prairie provinces. I've tried two of their flavors, the blueberry slushy and the cherry bomb flavor. The cherry bomb is the one that we're actually going to be discussing today. Both are really over the top flavorful to a point that it actually puckers my gums. The first thing we need to discuss actually is the taste, I think, first and foremost, being a taste test and review video. So, like I said, it's pretty strong, and to be honest, it's not really a good type of strong, it's fairly overwhelming. Sometimes I would chug it just so I don't have to taste it, but all in all I would give it a solid 6 out of 10 for taste. Now, to break down some important legal and performance safety stuff, let's look at the back more closely. This product is GMP certified, which all supplements should be. It follows FDA standards, it's made in Canada, and it's dye free. That's pretty cool. Alright guys, let's talk about the main reason why you're here. So obviously, you're here because you want to go over what's on the back of this little bottle. It has a fair amount of ingredients, but do those ingredients actually matter? So first thing we want to talk about is that it has 8 grams of L-citrulline. So that's very well dosed based on the ergogenic based dosing that we've come to accept within a lot of pre-workouts. Basically it's being used as a nitric oxide based supplement, so if you want to chase the pump and get more vasodilation, more vascular, it can help with that. And it can also aid with decreasing time to exhaustion. So L-citrulline is very well dosed, and as you're about to see, that's probably where the dosing benefits kind of end. This product has 3.5 grams of beta-alanine, which is also an amino acid. It's non-essential, meaning that we can produce it ourselves, but taking it in supplementation has been shown to be helpful and beneficial, though some studies show that it hasn't been beneficial at all. The dosing is good based on the available research. It is within range, but it is on kind of the lower ranges. Benefits are anywhere between 2.4 and 6.4 grams. So 3.5, yes, it's above the lower limit, but it's not a very efficacious dose. Next, we want to talk about betaine hydrochloride. That's at 1.8 grams. This originally created actually as a digestive aid and stomach acidifier, and it was originally created as an over-the-counter medicine, which is kind of interesting. I didn't even know that when I first started doing research on it. But the thing is, the evidence around this as supplementation is fairly low, especially as an acid or an acidifier or digestive aid, so it was stopped. And to be completely honest, we don't really know the mechanism behind how this works. So to have it in, it's kind of irrelevant. It's just kind of a filler supplement. To say that 1.8 grams is good or bad is kind of irrelevant at the end of the day. Next, we want to talk about creatine. It's got creatine hydrochloride, and it's at 1 gram. Creatine hydrochloride, also known as creatine HCl. We know creatine helps with ATP production, especially for anaerobic-based exercises, but this is a stimulant-based pre-workout, so it has caffeine in it. So is creatine going to be beneficial to have with your caffeine? There are some studies suggesting that creatine and caffeine, when mixed together, is disadvantageous. Is it really even a good idea to have them together? But I'm also from the camp of why would you want to mix caffeine and creatine together? Even if we don't know if there's going to be a negative effect, why would you want to chance that? Next, we've got to talk about agmatine sulfate. It has 600 milligrams of agmatine sulfate. This is a derivative of L-arginine. It's considered to be a neurotransmitter and a neuromodulator. It can help with pain perceptions because of the neuromodulator-based effects. Especially in the case of exercising, where you're exercising harder, it can help with not being as fatiguely beat up along those lines. But the problem is there's a lack of human research, and there's an abundance of animal research. And a lot of the research where it's been actually working well, it's not through oral doses, it's through injection-based doses. So the buffer between liver, digestive-based processes could be playing a role in making this supplement not even actually work. whereas having it injected going directly into the bloodstream, it may work where we're missing. So again, it's kind of hard to say if it's actually doing anything. Next, the actual dosing itself of 600 milligrams. There's no standardized dosing protocol, so we don't even know if 600 milligrams is advantageous. However, I did find some research that said that if you're within the range of 170 to 190 pounds, you roughly want to be around 500 milligrams to 750 milligrams. So if you're within that body range, 750 milligrams of agmatine sulfate would be advantageous. But is it actually doing anything when it's being consumed orally? Next, we've got to talk about L-tyrosine. That is at 600 milligrams as well. That is also an amino acid. It's used to produce catecholamines, so noradrenaline, dopamine, that sort of stuff. However, the synthesis of catecholamines do not upregulate by simply taking L-tyrosine, and that's kind of something that a lot of pre-workouts seem to include, but it doesn't work that way. Chances are it's not doing anything. There's not a wide body of evidence anyways on this supplement, so it's hard to suggest that taking this supplement does anything to even raise catecholamine levels without even doing blood work, and it's kind of hard to suggest that doing blood work before, during, and after this supplement where it has other confounding variables is even going to really do anything. It's a product that a lot of bros believe in, so I'm probably going to get backlash on this. Dosing is typically within the spectrum of 500 to 2,000 milligrams in training, so if it is doing something, 600 milligrams is fairly low end. Next, we want to talk about L-carnitine. That's at 500 milligrams. That's also one of those supplements that's kind of on the higher end for the bros. It's a compound produced from the body with lysine and theanine, which are also amino acids. It's best known for the involvement it plays in mitochondrial oxidation of long-chain fatty acids. Essentially, why you would want to care about this is it might slightly decrease muscle damage during your training, but the idea of it having a mitochondrial oxidation through long-chain fatty acids, basically what that means is that it can help with fat burning at the simplest of terms, but the studies that have been done specifically for that have not shown that it's been advantageous whatsoever. So the standard dosing seems to be around 500 to 2,000 milligrams as well. So this is within range, but it's also on the lower end. Next, we want to talk about caffeine anhydrous. That's at 325 milligrams. It's using caffeine and caffeine citrate, and according to the backside of the bottle here, it's at 137.5 milligrams of caffeine, with 25 milligrams being caffeine citrate per half a scoop. So double the doses for your full scoop. Caffeine, we know it's a stimulant, it's a central nervous system stimulator. It's very well researched, but then we want to go back to the purpose of, is it dosed well enough, and it's mixed with creatine. So again, being mixed with creatine, we don't know if there's going to be an intermediate-based effect. It could be playing a role, it could not. Research is not 100% sold on one or the other. This is kind of on the lower dose, especially for somebody who would be approaching 190 and up. So I know myself, I'm 195 pounds. I would be looking at closer to a 400 milligram dose. So this is slightly on the lower end if I'm looking to get true and long-lasting ergogenic effects with caffeine. But for somebody who is anywhere from 150 to 185 pounds, or if you're a female on the lower spectrum, that's very well dosed, it's fairly highly dosed for caffeine. And again, we go back to the camp of creatine being mixed with caffeine, so again, it makes you think a little bit. Moving on, we're going to be talking about Theobromine at 250 milligrams. From what I read, quote unquote, it is a bitter compound that is from cacao seeds. It is an alkaloid resembling caffeine in physiological effects, but unlike caffeine, it is not well studied, it is not well understood, and it does not have any suggested benefits proven in clinical trials. So that's from one specific site. That was actually from examine.com. And then when I went further and looked at WebMD and other supplement-based sites, they had a lot of, it has potential too, or it might do this, but there's no real literature supporting that it has any well substantiated effects. So honestly, I don't know. And as for dosing, there isn't one. Next, we've got 110 milligrams of bitter orange extract. It's commonly found in weight loss supplements due to having synephrine, which is similar to ephedra. It's been a banned substance by the FDA in the US. In Canada, ephedra is still alive, hence why it would be in this bitter orange extract. Ironically, bitter orange is also banned in the NCAA, so technically if you're taking this supplement, you would come up and be popped as using banned substances, even though, wait for it, there's a common theme, bitter orange extract does not actually do anything. It is not ephedrine, it does not function the same as ephedrine, and it does not work the same as ephedrine. Dosing, couldn't find one. Next we want to talk about L-theanine at 100 milligrams. This is also an amino acid. It is a non-dietary amino acid, which means that essentially you can do without it in all forms. It's said to be a relaxation agent with sedation. It's usually taken in combination with caffeine, but we're not really certain as to why, if at all, if it has a calming benefit for the individual. So it's kind of hard to say whether or not it's actually doing anything. The dosing seems to be around 100 milligrams to 200 milligrams, so this is on the lower end, but again, it might not actually be doing anything, so does it even really matter? We've got 5 milligrams of black pepper extract, basically allow for better absorption. This is low dose. The typical dosing is around 20 milligrams of bioactive piperine, which is the active form of black pepper extract. So 5 milligrams of black pepper extract is really low when the active form of piperine requires 20 milligrams. Last ingredient, we've got 120 micrograms of huperzine A. That's kind of been one that's seems to be popping up in the market because we've got this like realm of cognitive enhancers and neurotropics. So it's classified as something that is going to inhibit acetylcholine breakdown, and by breaking down acetylcholine, it's going to be beneficial for muscle contractions. The dosing is average at 120 micrograms, and typically we see within ranges of 50 to 200 micrograms per day. Research, again, not very thorough on it, so it's hard to say if it's actually doing anything itself. All in all, based on dosing, based on flavor, based on performance that I felt from it, I'm going to give this pre-workout a 5 out of 10. Largely because I know with my pre-workouts, I want specific compounds in them. I want there to be L-citrulline, I want there to be caffeine. Caffeine was a little bit on the lower end of the spectrum for somebody of my body weight, and it was mixed with creatine, which since I'm already consuming creatine monohydrate, it didn't make sense for me to have any hydrochloric acid. So all in all, the only supplement that was really well dosed would have been L-citrulline. So yes, it's got some pumps in it. Yes, it's got some focusing enhancements in it that may or may not be actually doing anything. My stimulants are a little on the lower end, so that's why I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. And to be honest, I'm being a little bit generous with that, largely because it is a Canadian company. I don't know. I think I'm starting to get to a point with pre-workouts where if I can't find exactly what I'm looking for, I might just start buying stuff in bulk so I know exactly what I'm getting. But it's fairly frustrating when you're spending anywhere from $45 to $65 for a supplement that clearly has a lot of filler in it. This might be my last time doing store-bought pre-workout though. So, and if that's the case, then I will be making a video on that. So, in summation, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, share the video around, and welcome to my backyard where we will be likely doing a lot of our supplement review videos and just about any other video where I'm just sitting here talking and having something over me because, well, COVID.